Hello and welcome to another practice. We have a twisty balance oriented flow. We do not need any props. If you are in a habit of using blocks or yoga straps, you can have it handy and take the practice at your own pace. Build it to your requirements, use modifications, go with your pace of breath and make it your own. Have fun. That's the most important part. And don't worry too much about looking any particular shape in any particular asana. Just go with the flow. Thank you so much for choosing to practice with me and consider subscribing to my channel. I greatly appreciate your support and I'll see you on the mat. We shall begin the practice on all fours. Make sure that your palms are directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Untuck your toes. Bring the tops of your feet firmly on the mat. Engage your core and drop your belly. Bring your chest in between your upper arms. Exhale, round your back, push the mat away from you and curl your back. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your back. 3 more. Take it at the pace of your breath and be conscious and bring the movement from your core. Come back to neutral spine. Engage your core. Lift your right leg. Make sure that your knee comes in line with your hips and your toes are pointed. Every exhale, kick or reach towards the ceiling. So you're trying to reach towards the ceiling with your toes with every exhale. You should feel the heat building up in your hamstrings and in your glutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this last time, bring your right knee behind your left and exhale, extend it and kick onto your right side. Bring it behind your knee, lift it up hip height and extend your leg, kicking onto your right side. Try to keep your feet in line with your right hip when you kick it out. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Come back onto all fours. Lift your left leg. Make sure that your left knee is in line with your left hip. Point your left toes and reach towards the ceiling. With every repetition, try to go a little higher with your leg. Stabilize your core so you're not stacking your hips. Try to square your hips down towards the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Bring your left knee behind your right. Extend your left leg hip length, hip height onto your left side. Inhale behind your knee. Exhale, kick. Inhale and exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Come back onto all fours. Cross your feet. Bring your sit bones down on the mat and roll your wrists in clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. Come back to seated. Bring the soles of your feet together. You can bring your feet as close to your inner thighs or you can have it out farther apart, making a diamond shape with your legs, whichever suits your hips today. And wherever you are, you can either sit up straight in your butterfly or you can fold forward, deepening your inner thigh warm up and opening your hips. Reach through the crown of your head and hinge from your hips. Avoid rounding your back With every exhale, try to come closer to the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up. Extend your right leg forward. Keep your right foot flexed. Bring your left foot down on the mat. Make sure that both your sit bones are on the mat. This is the most important part. So some of you might want to have your feet closer, and some of you might want to have your left foot out slightly and farther from your hips, depending on your hip mobility. Bring both your palms, frame your right shin and hinge from your hips. Go as far forward towards your extended leg as possible, only hinging from your hips, and try to touch your elbows down onto the mat and extend back up. We'll do 5 of those. Every exhale, fold forward, trying to bring your elbows down towards the mat and release. Whilst you're doing this, make sure that your sit bones are down on the mat. Last one, release. If you have your left foot pointed out, you can bring it in line with your left hip. Bring your right palm behind your back in line with your right hip and extend your left arm forward. Exhale, lift your hips all the way up, extending your left hand behind you. Come back down and lift. Back down and lift, and hold the third one for 5. Squeeze your glutes. Come back, release, and bring your left foot to your right inner thigh. Clasp your palms behind you and fold forward. Come only as far forward as possible, but make sure that your sit bones are down on the mat and you're reaching your chest towards your extended leg. Release, and this time release your hands and come into a full forward fold towards your extended leg. Engage your right leg, pull up on your kneecap, release, bring your chest to face your left knee. Right elbow comes on the inside of your right knee. You might want to bend your right leg if that helps. The goal is to bring your right shoulder inside your right thigh. Extend your left hand, and if you can reach and grab hold of your right foot or right toes, you can go ahead do that. Work towards opening your top shoulder up towards the sky. You can bring your right palm on your left knee to give you extra leverage. Make sure that your sit bones are down on the mat. And hold this stretch for 10 counts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Face your extended leg and switch sides. Extend your left foot out. Bring your right foot down on the mat. Adjust your stance, making sure that your sit bones are down on the mat. Bring your palms, square your left shin, and every exhale try to work your elbows down onto the mat. Inhale, lift up. Hinge from your hips and lift up. 3 more. Last one. Lift up. Bring your right foot in line with your right hip. Bring your left palm behind your left hip. Extend your right hand towards the front of the mat and sweep your arm all the way up and behind your head and lift your hips up. Come back down and lift. Back down and lift. Last one and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. Clasp your hands behind you. Open your chest, hinge from your hips, fold forward and hold. Engage your extended leg. Pull up on your kneecap and bring your chest towards your extended leg. Reach through the crown of your head. Release your clasp and fold all the way forward. Release. Bring your chest to face your bent knee. Left elbow works towards the inside of your left knee, or you can bring your left shoulder towards the inside of your left knee. Extend your right hand. If you can reach and clasp your left toes, do that. Open your top shoulder. Bring your left palm on your right knee to provide extra leverage. Work your sit bones down towards the mat the whole time and hold for 10 counts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release. Face the front of the mat. Come back to butterfly. Sit up straight and catch your breath. And come on to all fours, back again. Make sure that your palms are directly underneath your shoulders. Come into a full plank and hold your plank for 5 counts. Engage your abs, tuck your tailbone. 3, 2 and 1. Bring your right forearm down on the mat, left forearm down on the mat. Hold your forearm plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring right forearm parallel to the short edge of the mat. Open up into a side plank. You can either have your left arm extended up towards the sky or extended alongside your ears. If you want to add a challenge, float your top leg. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release and bring your left forearm parallel to the short edge. Open up in a side plank. Choose your arm variation and float your top leg if needed. Release back into your forearm plank. Walk your feet towards your elbows, coming into a dolphin. Work your heels down towards the mat. Float your right leg, three-legged dolphin. Float your left leg. Come back, dolphin. Look towards your palms, bend your knees. Shoot forward, coming into a full plank. Flow through your chaturanga, upward dog, all the way back, downward facing dog. Float your right leg up, point your right foot. Bring your right knee into your chest. Plant your right foot between your palms. High crescent lunge, arms come alongside your ears. Bring both your palms on the inside of your right foot, lizard lunge. Optional to come down onto your forearms and hold your lizard for 2 more breaths. Extend your back heel. Come back onto your palms if you were down on your forearms. Pivot onto the knife edge side of both your feet and sweep your right hand pointed towards your back foot and take a hip dip. Come back to the front. Exhale, hip dip. Back to the front and exhale, hip dip and hold. Back to the front and pivot onto the heel of your back foot. Left toes point up towards the sky and transition into Skandasana. Plant your left foot, shift your hips towards the back edge of the mat, Skandasana onto the other side. You can use your hands if you need extra leverage. You need to engage your core and it takes a lot of strength to do it without your hands. Bring your right foot down, shift back to Skandasana onto the front edge and hold. Next breath, bring your sit bones down on the mat and bring your right foot to the inside of your left hip. Sit up straight and take a side bend, working your left elbow onto the inside of your left leg. Right hand reaches alongside your right ear, or if you can grab hold of your left toes. Release. Place your right palm in line with your hips and lift your hips all the way up. You can work your right knee in line with your back foot, coming into a supported side plank. Bring your arms out into a T, coming into a gate. Left palm comes onto your left thigh. Extend your right hand alongside your ears. Release back in. Release your arms back into a T. Point your left foot towards the back edge of the mat. Bring your palms to frame your left foot, coming into a low lunge. You are facing the back of the mat. Step back into plank. Bring your right forearm down, left forearm down. Walk into a dolphin. Bend your knees. Look towards your palms. Shoot through plank. Flow through chaturanga. Upward facing dog. All the way back. Downward facing dog. Float your left leg, pointing your left toes. Left knee comes into chest. Frame your left foot. High crescent lunge. Arms come alongside your ears. Plant your palms on the inside of your left foot. High lizard. Optional to come down onto your forearms and hold. Keep reaching through your back heel. Engage your core. Come back up into your high lizard. Pivot onto the knife edge side of both your feet. Take a hip dip, extending your left hand towards the front edge of the mat. Come back to center. 2 more. Hip dip. Back to center. Take a hip dip. Come back to center. Roll on to the heel of your back foot. Toes point up towards the sky. Come into Skandasana. Plant your right foot. Shift your hips towards your right heel. Skandasana onto the other side. Plant your left foot. Shift back Skandasana to your left side. Bring your sit bones down on the mat. Square your chest towards your knee. Work your right elbow on the inside of your right leg. Extend your left hand alongside your ears. Both your sit bones are down on the mat. Release. Bring your left palm in line with your hip and lift your hips off the mat. Make sure work your knee in line with your back foot. Extend your right hand alongside your ears. Arms come out into a T. Stack your shoulders directly over your hips. Bring your right palm on your right thigh. Extend your left hand alongside your ears. Release your arms back into a T. Right toes point towards the short edge of the mat. Take a low lunge towards the front of the mat. Step back into plank. Come onto your forearms. Work your hips up, coming into a dolphin. Look towards your palms, bend your knees, shoot forward, through a plank, flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog, all the way back, downward facing dog. Float your right leg, one-legged dog. Bring your right knee into your chest, shift forward into plank. Right palm comes directly underneath your right shoulders. Left foot comes down on the mat. Extend your right leg, open up into a fallen triangle. Bring your left palm down onto the mat. Right knee comes back into the chest. Back into one-legged dog. Plant your right foot in between your palms. High crescent lunge. Extend both your legs. Pivot onto the back foot and Skandasana towards your left heel. Right foot points up towards the sky. Plant your right foot, shift forward towards the front of the mat. Left palm comes on the inside of your right foot. Open up into an easy twist. Back knee comes down on the mat. Bend your back leg. Catch your back foot. take a quad stretch. Keep sinking your hips, left hip down. You should feel the stretch in the front of your left quad. Release your back foot, frame your front leg, come into a pyramid, fold forward. Bend your right knee, high crescent lunge, open up warrior two. Right palm comes either on the inside or on the outside of your right foot, coming into a side angle. You can have your top arm extended alongside your ears. Extra challenge, bring your palms to touch each other. Release your palms, face the front of the mat, bring your gaze towards the top edge of the mat and step forward, coming into a chair. Extend both your hands alongside your ears. Bring your palms to your chest. Hook your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Take a twist. Bring your gaze down towards the mat. Shift your weight onto your left foot and slowly stand, coming into a twisted Tadasana. Come back, twisted chair. Bring your gaze down onto the mat. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Float your left leg. You can extend it all the way behind you for an extra challenge. Release your back foot down on the mat. Right hand rests on the left thigh. Extend your left hand alongside your ears. Extend both your legs and transition into a reverse triangle. Bring your arms out into a T. Right foot points towards the front edge of the mat. Transition into a triangle. Optional to bring your palms to touch each other for an extra core challenge. Keep your legs active. Release your palms. Face the front of the mat. Left palm comes on the inside of your right foot. Square your hips towards the front of the mat and take a twist in your pyramid. Bring your gaze down. Slowly shift slightly forward and start floating your back leg, coming into a twisted half moon. Bring your gaze down onto the mat. Bend your right leg and bring your left knee into your chest. Both palms come to touch each other. Take a figure 4 by bringing your left ankle to rest on your right thigh. Grab hold of your left big toe with your 2-piece fingers. Come into Tadasana. Left knee into your chest. Extend your left leg in front of you. Take a balance. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your left leg on the outside of your left hip and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release to Tadasana. Sweep your arms all the way up. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant your palms. Hop back. Flow to Chaturanga. Upward dog. Come all the way back. Downward facing dog. Take that flow on the other side. Float your left leg. Bring your left knee into your chest. Left palm comes directly underneath your shoulder. Plant your back foot. Extend your left leg. Open up fallen triangle. Right palm back down onto the mat. Back into one-legged dog. Frame your front foot. Plant it in between your palms. Come into high crescent lunge. Extend both your legs. Plant your back foot. Bring your hips towards your back heel. Skandasana. Plant your left foot. Shift your hips towards your left leg. Left toes point towards the front edge of the mat. Take an easy twist. left back knee comes down onto the mat. Catch your back foot, quad stretch. Keep sinking your right hip down towards the mat. Release your quad stretch, frame your front foot. Extend both your legs, fold forward onto your left leg, pyramid. Come all the way back up, high crescent lunge, open up warrior two. Bring your left palm either on the inside or on the outside of your left foot. Take a side angle. Optional to bring both your palms to touch. Release your side angle into a chair, bringing both your feet towards the front of the mat. Palms come to touch in front of your chest. Hook your right elbow on the outside of your left foot, left knee. Take a twist. Bring your gaze down towards the mat. Shift your weight onto your right leg and float your left knee into your chest. Come into a twisted Tadasana. Release back. Float your right leg. If you want an extra challenge, extend your right leg all the way behind you. Bring your back foot down on the mat. Bring your left hand to rest on the outside of your right thigh. Twisted crescent. Extend both your legs. Face the longest side of the mat. Reverse your triangle. Bring your arms out in a T. Reach towards the front of the mat, transition into a triangle. Optional to extend both your hands alongside your ears. Keep your legs active the whole time. Release your hands, face the front of the mat. Square your chest towards the mat. Bring your right palm on the inside of your left foot, twisted pyramid. Extend your left hand up towards the sky. Bring your gaze down, shift forward and float your back foot, twisted half moon. Release your palms, bring them to your chest, bend both knees and rest your right heel on top of your left thigh, coming into a figure four. Catch your big toe with your two-piece fingers and come into a Tadasana. Extend your right leg in front of you. Hold the balance for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your right leg on the outside of your right hip. Grow tall from your hips for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release Tadasana. Take a deep breath. That was quite challenging. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, plant the palms, hop back into Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Come all the way back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, bring your knees down onto the mat, cross your legs, come into seated. We'll do a little bit of core work and take a back bend, of course. Bring your knees into your chest, lift your feet off the mat. Make sure that your ankles are in line with your knees. Extend your hands, Navasana. Either hold here or if you want a challenge, try playing with extending both your legs and hold. Broaden your shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your Navasana and come all the way down onto the mat. Bring your arms out in a T and float your feet. Ankles in line with your knees and knees are in line with your hips. Every exhale, drop your knees onto one side. Come back to the center, drop it onto the other side. Glue your knees together so they move in as one entity and make sure that your shoulders are glued down onto the mat when you twist. You are using your core power to lift your legs to come back to the center. Neutral, release your feet down, make sure that they are hip distance apart and the weight is on your heels. You can take a bridge or you can lift all the way up into your wheel pose, whatever works for you. Tuck your tailbone, engage your core, lift your hips, squeeze your glutes. If you are transitioning into your wheel, bring your palms on the outside of your ears and next exhale, push all the way up into your wheel pose. If you feel that your shoulders are open and you have the mobility to do this, you can bring your forearms down on the mat and work your chest in between your upper arms. Keep squeezing your glutes and lifting your hips up towards the sky. Release from your back bend. Hug your knees into your chest, roll from side to side, release your back. Support your lower back with your palms and lift your hips off the mat. Work your hips directly over your shoulders. Extend both your legs, point your foot, coming into a shoulder stand. The weight is on your upper arms and it's a knot on your neck. You can transition into a plow from here. Bring your knees towards your forehead, extend both your legs and work towards bringing your hips directly over your shoulders and knees away from your face. Roll your back down onto the mat for an extra challenge. Point your feet, keep your legs extended and try to float your feet as one entity and come all the way back down onto the mat. We'll end our practice in shavasana. You can bend your legs, you can extend it all the way out. Come into a comfortable position. You can even do this seated. Come back to your normal breath. Thank your beautiful self for your beautiful body to let you move in all these challenging variations. I hope you had fun doing this with me. I hope you had fun doing that practice with me and bringing up your heart rate and sweating out a little bit. I'll see you on the mat next week. Have a beautiful time.